Let me talk to you. We are 3 weeks away from the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania. And we finally got a face-to-face between Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Did they deliver? We also got a couple pieces of the puzzle put together to build out the WrestleMania card. All that, plus some news coming up. The show starts now. Yes, we are 3 weeks away from WrestleMania, which
Yeah,
means
so
we are close to a WrestleMania prediction show and all that.
if we get around to it, we typically forget the predictions. Something always happens on the prediction end of our schedule.
Yeah, but that's okay. If we get one, we get one.
True. So it seems like they're creating a pathway to WrestleMania for quite a few people.
Yeah, they're finding a way to get everybody on the card
What'd
that
you
needs to
think?
be on the card.
What did you think about the week overall?
Um, I thought Raw was just a big commercial for next week's Raw,
Okay.
and then SmackDown was better.
Okay. Yeah, I can see
I
that.
mean, I would even dare say I enjoyed SmackDown.
Woo, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I like the intensity. I like the that the crowd was into it.
They
It
were
seems
into it.
my enjoyment. It seems my enjoyment of the show always centers around if the crowd is into it or not, which they never are on Raw. It's like
Yeah.
they're it's like they're watching a funeral or something.
Well, I just want to watch something entertaining. I could give a shit less if the crowd is into it or not. Although when they're chanting stupid shit because um, what's in the ring is so boring, that's kind of noticeable.
Yes, they're entertaining themselves.
Right.
It's like, oh, let's just be loud to be loud.
Yeah.
But let's start there. Monday Night Raw.
Okay.
Speaking of, but yeah, I think it was a pretty much a commercial for next week, as they kept talking about what was happening next week. But we start out with Lita and Becky Lynch entering the arena. There's a big match fill coming, or not coming, but the big match fill is there as they are gearing up to a title match later in the night, which should end up being the main event.
Yep, it was a main event.
And I mean,
That's it.
yeah,
They
they're
just
walking
walked in.
in. There's nothing nothing more to put to that. We then move on to a recap of the Sammy and Jimmy situation, and Jey Uso, of course. So it's just a recap of that. This is all before the show starts, by the way,
Right.
or
It was
like
just
before.
yeah, it was just a little video package.
Yes, and then surprisingly, we get the bloodline is in Yo City, but it's
Some
not
of
the
the
whole
bloodline.
bloodline, of
Yeah.
course. It is Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa. There's no Jey Uso, and obviously there's no Roman Reigns,
And there's no Paul Heyman.
and no Paul Heyman. And so they come out, they do the Bloodlines in Yo City thing, and we get the start of a promo. Um, what did he say on the promo? Did you get it?
Yeah, Jimmy says things aren't as bad as they seem from outside looking in. It might seem worse than it is, but families fight all the time. Um, he mentioned that if you come for one of us, that means you come for all of us. Typical gang thing. He says he says Kevin Owens didn't get the job done at what was it? Wasn't War Games?
Royal
Royal
Rumble.
Rumble. Sami Zayn didn't get the job done at Elimination Chamber, and Cody Rhodes, who got a really big cheer, he got the biggest cheer of them all. He ain't get one over either. We're not in Canada though, so. So after that, the Street Profits, they came out and they cut a promo, and I completely skipped it. So if you got that, great. If not, then Montez Ford, he came out and he goes ooh solo, and I was done.
Um, there wasn't much to. They didn't really say anything. It
Okay.
just led to a match.
Yeah. Well, it starts off with a brawl, and then they're like, "I got a referee out here."
Yeah, they challenged him to a match, and then they start a brawl, and then yeah, they get the referee out. Go to go to commercial, come back, and there's a match first. So we
Right.
got Jimmy Uso, Solo Sikoa versus the Street Profits.
And it was really a nothing match. They're still doing like that thing where, well, we'll get to that. But Sikoa Joe does that thing where he doesn't leave his feet and takes two grown men to do a power move to get him off his feet once. And he's so fucking irrelevant. Like I don't understand why they're still doing that. Which
Solo's irrelevant.
I think so. He's the most irrelevant one in the bloodline.
He hasn't been pinned.
That's fine, but he's not involved in the
He's
story. He doesn't have beef with anybody. He's just there.
he
I
is there,
understand
but he's also undefeated
I
for 6 months.
understand that. I get that. They're protecting him, but he's not being undefeated ain't doesn't really mean anything if you're not impacting anything.
There's another guy we haven't seen pinned yet either. Just random information here.
Who's that?
Gunther. Gunther. We have yet to see him been pinned.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yes. Yes, he is not lost on the main roster yet. Well, he's lost via DQ or stuff like that, but he has not been pinned yet.
Okay. Even in like tag matches?
Yeah, it's always the other guys taking
Okay.
over.
That's good.
Yeah,
I
so
just don't
he's
understand
one
why
of the
they
more protected ones.
he's not like they're not building him up to anything right now. So I don't know. I just don't get it. But we'll get to it. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, he's the enforcer. He's got to be this. He is the hitman of the group, so he's got to be the strongest one.
Yeah, but he's not. He hasn't really enforced anything.
He enforced Matt Riddle. We haven't seen him since.
Well, the
He
entire
enfor-
bloodline enforced Matt Riddle.
yeah, but he did the final shot with the bloodline thing he does, the Pillmanizer.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what that move's called yet. They don't have a name for it. I can just say the Bloodliner.
The bloodliner.
Yeah.
Well, Umaga used to do it.
Yeah, but with the chair thing, that's a
No, Umaga or somebody used to do that. That's not new.
well then what's the move name?
I don't know.
See?
I don't think you name an illegal move. That just doesn't make any sense.
I mean, they named the Concerto.
Uh,
They named the step on the neck thing from the ropes. They named that the Pillmanizer. Well, they didn't name that. It's just what it became.
well, okay, fair enough. But I don't know the chair thing. I think. Well, yeah. Okay, you got me. I don't know what it is though. I just know
But anyway,
somebody's done it.
sure. I believe you. I just don't know what the name of it is. And I think it should have a name since it's so relevant to the bloodline shtick.
Yeah.
But um, where were you going with that?
I'm going with what? What I forgot what I was saying. You cut me off.
Oh, oh, you're talking about how he's irrelevant solo.
Oh, I don't get why they're doing that now, because he's not. If he was feuding with somebody, or if he was working his way up to, say, Gunther, if his aim was to get to the Intercontinental title, or even Theory, get to the something, anything, but for him to just still have that, I don't know. It just doesn't make any. I don't see it.
Okay.
So Sakoa Joe hits a Samoan spike to Dawkins for the win, and yeah, as I said, it was a pretty remarkable match. Ford, I really want to like him, but his facial expressions, man, he's just so fucking goofy.
He was a little over the top, and with the suck it thing, and
Yeah, it's I don't know,
he needs to calm it. Yeah, scale it back a little bit.
just a bit. He doesn't even have to talk. I think he'd be because he doesn't have the Ving Rhames, the bass. Like, I'm gonna beat the fuck out. You know, I just he sounds like he plays video games.
Well, I was thinking, so you got you're talking about black wrestlers,
Yeah.
and I was thinking, so with the black wrestlers, there's always yeah, but or there's always something missing.
Mm-hmm.
But with him, you can see that he has all the tools
I think he
to
has all the
be like
tools
a top
except.
guy. So like
I
if we
think
look
he
at
has all the tools except for the speaking, but he doesn't necessarily have to speak to be a top guy.
well, I think he's got the speaking down.
Okay, we'll agree to
Um,
disagree.
like so if you look at like Big E, he's hurt right now, so I guess that he's not really relevant. But let's then go to Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley, he has the look, but he sucks on the mic. Let's just be honest there. Um,
It depends.
if you go like
Sometimes,
our truth,
sometimes
uh,
he's really good, and sometimes he's just he sounds forced.
I mean,
Doesn't
what
have
he says is good, but he's just boring. He has no.
inflection.
What I'm looking for is like I don't know charisma. Rowdy Piper, when he would say stuff, they didn't always make sense. Macho Man, when he would say stuff, they didn't always make sense. Ultimate Warrior, they didn't always make sense, but they would just be like the charisma would be there. You'd be ready to run through a wall. Like Ultimate Warrior is over here talking about stars and planets aligning, and you're like, what is he even talking about? But he's like so into what he's saying, and he's growling, and so they just brought the charisma. That's what he has. Bobby Lashley, he just like everything he says is just at one tone.
Yeah, I think it depends on the material he's given. Because I think you got a big jacked black dude telling you that he's gonna rip your head off. You're gonna pay attention. But if he goes, I don't know, if he goes into more than that, when he goes into the soliloquies about all the things he's gonna do and how great he is and stuff,
And using big words.
uh huh, that's probably not his strong suit. But when he keeps it, his promo on Bray Wyatt on SmackDown wasn't that bad. That was pretty good.
I'm saying, yeah, what he says isn't bad. It's just more.
Well, even how he
It's
delivered it.
boring. How he says it is boring.
Oh, even how he delivered it, I thought was pretty good.
And I'm a Bobby Lashley fan. Like, I'm talking about. I'm talking about like who could be trying to get trying to get like a black wrestler that could be on the level of a Rock or Stone Cold or someone that could carry the company. And to do that, you gotta have a look, and
Mm,
you gotta be able to work on the microphone.
no.
Um, so I'm saying Ford can be that. There's stuff he does have to dial back, but I think he is good on the microphone.
Yeah.
Um, I do also want to say that Dawkins,
He's kind
you
of
can see
useless.
they're still trying to create the split, or they're kind of going gearing towards a split of the Street Profits.
Uh huh.
Um, I've noticed for like the last, well, since Elimination Chamber, even going back to the qualifier of Elimination Chamber, Dawkins lost to whoever he lost to. And then since then, he's been the one that's always taken the pin. So obviously it's because they're protecting Montez, but I can see that building towards him getting like jealous of Montez or some kind of delusional, you're holding me back. The reason I keep losing is because of you. And, and then that's the heel turn, and then he have him and Montez go on a feud.
I don't know. I just think it's because you can clearly tell that the Dawkins is the friend, the number two.
Well, yeah, I see him. He reminds me a lot of D'Lo Brown, weirdly
Oh,
enough.
he reminds me of
But I like
somebody.
D'Lo with his head shaking.
I like D'Lo too. That's why I wouldn't compare him to D'Lo.
Well, maybe it's because he does the D'Lo frog splash. But
Eh, fair enough. I thought, you know what? If it was Jimmy and Ford, Montez Ford, just a singles match, I think that would have been a lot better. They had
yeah,
like a little exchange. It was pretty good. I think Solo and the other guy Dawkins, it was just, I don't know. They didn't need to be there. So then after the match, Sokoa Joe tries to decapitate Ford with the little move that we can't name that we discussed earlier.
unnamed move.
Yeah.
Mm,
Then Kevin Owens comes out from the crowd. He super kicks Joe and then stuns Jimmy. Then Kevin Owens immediately runs away, and then he leaves a very pissed off Sokoa Joe alone with a still incapacitated Montez Ford. They never addressed that at all, but Sokoa Joe has the chair and he's swinging it around, and Ford's still there.
yeah, he's still in the
Yeah,
ring. It's
and
like, oh,
Kevin,
I'm gonna beat his ass now.
yeah, that's gonna get it worse.
And yeah, they're still building this Kevin Owens. So you got Kevin Owens on Monday. He's fighting the Bloodline. Sami Zayn on Friday. He's fighting the Bloodline. They're each fighting them separately. We got 3 weeks to turn this into this tag team match that's supposed to happen. They better hurry it up.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know. I can't say I'm too interested in that side of it.
In the tag team match.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of tag team matches to begin with. So the fact that that's the payoff, I think that's a big contributing factor. I want to see what happens between Jay and Jimmy. I think that'd be nice. It'd be neat if they had a feud. I don't think they've. Have they had a feud?
No.
So that could be something they could explore. Of course, Jay could turn on Sammy. There's that element of it. That's compelling. But I don't know. There's something missing for me.
Well, they haven't tied it all together yet.
True. You're absolutely right.
So yeah, after that segment, we go to MVP and Brock Lesnar. Well, we're supposed to be getting an MVP lounge, but Brock starts off in the ring before MVP, and he says to MVP to get out there and sell me on this fight. Um, I missed what I didn't get to write down what MVP said.
He basically said, "You're a beast, but almost is a giant. When you put your hands on a man, you can do whatever you want to him. When you put your hands on a giant, he'll put his hands back on you or on you back." And he did a horrible job of selling the match, but the best part was Brock smiling and nodding, and them getting close-ups of it because he he looked like he deserved to be on one of them lists.
Yeah, he was definitely into it.
I
And
guess.
then he's wooing after.
Yeah,
He's like, "Whoa!"
he even high-fived him.
Yeah, and he says, "Let me help you here. It's gonna be Omos," or he calls him Omos.
Yeah.
It's gonna be Omos versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
So it's on.
So he accepts it, and he insists that they have a celebratory drink. Brock Lesnar, out of his coat, the farmer that he is, has a flask that has a mystery drink inside of it. He called it White Lightning. Do you
Yeah.
happen to know what that is?
My understanding is that it's a moonshine type deal,
Okay.
or like
So,
like the Everclear type stuff.
yeah. So he takes a big
But
swig.
I don't know
Oh,
the
go ahead.
history of moonshining and stuff, but my understanding is that Brock Lesnar's from Minnesota and he lives in Canada, and
But he's the country boy,
moonshine is the Alps, the Appalachians, was like West Virginia, and I don't know.
Oh, it could have gotten imported. I don't know.
Of
Or he
course, it
made
was
it.
imported. It's just he makes it sound like, oh, this is what we do in the backwoods.
I mean, I could totally see sitting in the pickup truck out in the woods. It, got the got the unknown drink in the flask. Everybody's passing it around, coughing after they take shots of it, getting drunk to no end.
I can see that.
People throwing out.
I can't see Brock Lesnar, Mr. Minnesota, now Canada guy, just drinking moonshine from a little uh, denim vest flask.
So he doesn't fit the moonshine prototype. I don't know
No,
what that even is. So I know what moonshine is. So I'm saying I don't know the prototype of a moonshine drinker.
not him.
You know, I'm speaking from the other side of the aisle, and what the other side of the aisle. What I can tell you is, we see a country boy, we can believe that whatever they're drinking at the flask is believable.
I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's hard to describe that flavor of my culture.
The nuances.
Yeah, the nuances. I don't know. I could see him having like a unknown brand of whiskey or something, or bourbon. but this White Lightning, this seems out of place for the Beast for me. And I could maybe my history of moonshine is wrong. Maybe it originated in Minnesota. I don't know, but that's just how I feel about it right now. Overanalyzing Brock Lesnar's drink. It was probably water.
Well, that's that's how he goes 5 hours with Sable.
That's true.
Well, I guess he doesn't. I guess he doesn't need that. She's the moonshine, all the moonshine you need, of course.
True.
But you know, him just him to keep it up that long, you gotta have some kind of substance in you.
Yeah.
Um. So yeah, he takes a swig. He lets out a woo because it's a strong drink. He hands it to MVP. He says, "Here, take a drink." MVP's like, I think I'm gonna go with the champagne." And Brock Lesnar insists. He says, "No, take a drink. You're not gonna make me drink alone, are you?" So
Of course not. Oh, certainly MVP was actually pretty good.
yeah, so as MVP or as Brock Lesnar saying this, MVP is like, "Okay, I'll take a drink." Takes a drink, and he couldn't keep it down. It was so strong, he spit it out. The only problem is he spit it right into Brock Lesnar's face, and instantly the crowd that they decided to uh, bleep out started chanting "You fucked up,"
Sure did.
and MVP is like, apologizing. He hands him his handkerchief. He's wiping him down.
And
Brock Lesnar takes the.
it must have
Mhm.
been paint thinner because Brock Lesnar's face got really red.
Well, he's upset. I assume.
Uh, I don't know if he can get upset. Well, maybe he can.
But yeah, he gives Brock Lesnar a handkerchief. Brock Lesnar starts wiping his face. He blows his nose, and it leads, of course, as you would expect, to a F5 of MVP.
Yeah, it was kind of funny
And
because MVP was hesitant to get in the ring at first, and he asked Brock, "You're not going to take me to Suplex City?" Brock says, "No, there'll be no suplexes tonight." Of course, the crowd hated that, so there wasn't any suplexes, but he didn't say anything about F5s.
yep.
And I am not at all interested in this almost Brock Lesnar match. That did nothing to sell it for me.
Well, it would help if Omos was there,
I guess.
but
But now
MVP is over here getting attacked. Who's his manager, and he didn't even come out to help.
he probably did. It just took him forever to get there. He probably just now got there.
Well, he didn't. I mean, they didn't show him if he came out.
Almost isn't exactly quick.
I'm saying if he came out, they didn't show him at all. So we can only assume from that
Because he
he
didn't
didn't
get
come
there in
out.
time. He didn't get there in time for the cameras to get him.
Well, still, he didn't come out. So I mean, we got to see him face to face. I
Yeah.
want to see how much towering over Brock Lesnar is this Nigerian giant, because
It,
that's the only thing they got to do.
yeah, it'll probably happen next week. They'll do the little stare down, and then Omos will either push him or do his what's his finisher.
The Kali slam,
Okay.
like the choke slam into the power bomb thing
Oh,
with the, where he
right, right,
picks him
right.
up with two hands and throws him down.
So yeah,
So yeah, that is a match that is coming. Now, you may be asking, and we might as well talk about it here. Why this? Why is this a thing? Why is this match happening? And we did get some news later on in the week that said that this was this match was made by Vince McMahon.
It was.
Um, no one, yeah, no one wanted to like confirm it, but you have a source of Wrestle Votes. It was pretty, they get stuff right pretty frequently. They said that this match was made by Vince McMahon.
Okay.
Fightful and Meltzer and all them, they said, "Oh, we can't confirm that." I mean, look at the match. Of course, you can confirm it. You don't have to have someone in the building tell you that this is a Vince McMahon match. Like this is obviously a Vince McMahon match.
So one source said that it was Vince's doing. The credible sources, quote unquote, are saying, "No, we can't verify it." But that one source is good enough for you.
I said they get stuff right too.
Okay.
The other sources, yes, the other credible sources said they can't confirm that.
Yeah. If you can't
But
confirm it, why
yes,
would you run with it?
yes, it's enough for me because even just seeing this match book, it has Vince McMahon stamped all over it. It's just the match that was made, so there's no prior story behind it. That's a Vince McMahon special. It's a spectacle, as I said last time. Um, you know, that's it's just what Vince McMahon type matches lead to.
So
A spectacle on the grandest stage of them all.
you think he's back booking?
I don't think he's officially booking. I just think he did this match.
What
Um,
if what if it happened to be a match that he wanted to build to when he was still in the seat, the creator seat? And since Brock Lesnar vetoed the Bray Wyatt match,
Hold on. Well, go ahead. That was going to be the next part of the story, but now that
oh
you got it there, so
yeah, I got there.
go ahead and spill the rest of that too.
Yeah, reports can there was a port jeepers. Now I gotta find the article. There was a report from WrestlingHeadlines.com that Brock Lesnar personally nixed the Bray Wyatt match. They at first wanted to do Lesnar and Gunther, but then they changed their mind on that. There's no reason given as to that, but then they wanted to go Lesnar Wyatt, but Brock, of course, said no, hell no, I don't want to do that. So then this is their third plan or their third option, and now it's Omos. So do you think that
Yes.
maybe Vince McMahon had that idea all along, and they didn't want to do that? That's why they wanted to pair him with Gunther and Bray Wyatt before even entertaining Omos.
I think they settled on it afterwards, because remember, even going further back, we were hearing the idea of Lesnar versus Stone Cold. So I think there was a bunch of different ideas thrown at the wall. He didn't want to do Bray Wyatt. Stone Cold, I don't know who didn't want to do that, but it wouldn't have been a good match to do anyway. As a 70-year-old 60-year-old Stone Cold getting tossed around the ring, going to Suplex City with his bad back and legs and all that.
Yeah,
Not a good
I like
idea.
a style clash, but that's too much of a clash. It wouldn't work.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been a good idea.
I don't think it would have been a
Um,
good idea in their prime. I think Stone Cold was right to kind of back away from that match. The way he did it wasn't right, but
It
that's a
needed to
different
be
story.
done.
Yeah.
Stone Cold's like, what? Well, I'm out then. um, and yeah, Bray Wyatt. I'm gonna agree with you here. It wouldn't have been a good match. Uh, Bray Wyatt and Brock Lesnar wouldn't have been
No.
a good. Wouldn't have been a good match. Even I don't know what they would have done with the build. So there's that. But now that Bray Wyatt's doing the Firefly Funhouse and the Muscle Man dance and all this,
He's doing everything.
but you probably don't want to put Brock Lesnar in that kind of kiddish or comedy role. I don't know what you would
Nope.
call it. And then the match itself. We got to remember what Brock Lesnar matches are: F5s and suplexes, and then on Bray Wyatt's side it would just be like Sister Abigail's, and it, so it would just turn into a bad match. So the build would be bad, the match would be bad. So it's probably better that they didn't do the match.
Actually, it would be exactly like we're getting with the Bobby Lashley Bray Wyatt build. Exactly like that. And the match will be exactly like that too, because Lashley's basically a little Brock Lesnar.
Well, I mean, Lashley does moves. He's got the post thing where he rams him into the post. Um, he does leapfrogs.
You're gonna put a leapfrog in as a move.
Well, Lesnar ain't doing no leapfrogs. Like his is just power moves.
He leapfrogs to the ring. It's his entrance.
Punches. He throws punches. When was the last time Lesnar just threw a regular punch?
He throws knees.
Yeah. See,
He gets him in the corner and does knees. There you go.
I mean, I guess to Lesnar's
Oh no no
credit,
no! He does the MMA thing where he gets him on the mat and starts hitting him with the elbows and the punches.
he hasn't done that for a while.
Randy Orton,
That was years ago.
was it?
Yeah.
He still did it.
Yeah, that was years ago. He hasn't done that in a long time.
Oh, sh-
Throw in a Kimura lock because you do the Kimura lock too.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, it wouldn't have been a good match with Bray. Gunther, it wouldn't be a good match for Gunther either. Same reasons, because it's just gonna be power moves. So
I think the Gunther and Brock Lesnar would have been a great match.
I don't think it would have been
Oh, it would have been awesome.
like the look of it. Yes, it would have been something to see. But if you break down what Lesnar matches have become, suplexes, F5s, Kimura locks, and then Gunther would just be throwing chops and
Yeah,
so
it'd be chops and suplexes. It'd be fucking awesome. These just two big badasses, just chopping each other down. And maybe Brock Lesnar would dust off some of his old Minnesota wrestling uh, techniques. That'd be great.
well, we will see because
Yeah.
he has Omos now. So, or I'm sorry, Omos,
Yeah.
Omos as he calls him. Um, but yeah, I think Vince McMahon had a I believe WrestleVotes. We'll just say that.
Okay.
So you had without it being confirmed, it just has Vince McMahon writing all over it.
It might be, but I don't know if I would think that it'd be something that he wanted to do prior to his release. And
Oh, Another thing.
Yep.
Another thing. Another evidence point. Vince McMahon, remember when Vince McMahon resigned, and then we got that story about Brock Lesnar walking out.
Yeah.
So obviously he was close to Vince because he didn't want to work with anybody but Vince. Now Vince came back, and then he was shooting down these other matches, and then we got this match just thrown out there. So it just has writing all over the wall that Vince at least had. I wouldn't say he just like it's gonna be Brock Lesnar versus Omos. He probably said, "Why don't you know?" He suggested it to Brock and Triple H, probably both in the same room. Vince, he doesn't want to do Bray Wyatt or Gunther. We don't know. He doesn't want to do any of these matches. Well, what about Omos? Yeah, I could do that, Vince. Since you suggested it.
I don't know.
And then,
I say it's something that was suggested prior, and just like the Sammy angle, it was a break glass in case of an emergency type deal.
they did also. There was a report that there was another option. Now I don't know why this was even like written up, written. Now you get people behind the $5 paywall. This is the stuff you gotta you gotta come up with. If it wasn't Omos, there was gonna be a plan B, but we don't know who that was. That was the headline.
Oh, okay.
If it wasn't Omos, there was someone else, but
Pro-
we don't know who that was.
Probably Braun Strowman.
Like, why even bring that up?
Right.
Because you got $5 and you gotta, you're charging people $5 a month. You gotta make it sound like you're getting scoops. There's your scoop. If he didn't wrestle Omos, he was gonna wrestle someone else. Oh, you mean to tell me for $5 a month that Brock Lesnar somehow was gonna be on the WrestleMania card? That's what you're telling me, ultimately. They were gonna find a way to put Brock Lesnar on a WrestleMania card. That's the big revelation here.
Can't say I blame him.
Golly. And that'll be $5 a month for that information. I mean, we should be charging people $5 a month for that. I could tell you that. I don't need I don't need sources to tell you that. Hey, Brock Lesnar's going to be at WrestleMania.
Well, then you're not
Who's he going
reliable
to
because
face?
you don't have sources.
Who's he going to face? I mean, someone. I'll let you know when they tell us on TV. When they make the match and put the graphic up, I'll let you know.
If it's a YouTube clip, then I'll get back to you.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's how we got to Omos versus Brock Lesnar. And the obvious worst match of the night.
Right.
But you say it might be Bray and Bobby Lashley. Maybe they both equally suck. I don't know.
I think Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley will be a train wreck.
Well, we will see.
Especially after, well, we'll get to it.
We then go to Becky Lynch and Lita. They basically talk about being the next tag team champions. Um, they're pretty much sucking each other off on this. Oh, it's been a dream to work with Lita. I'd say it's a bucket list item to win gold again, yada yada yada. So that was pretty much that segment.
Okay.
We we then go on to Cody Rhodes versus Chad Gable,
Yeah,
and
it was great. I knew it was going to be great. You had little Chad Gable come out with his wrestling, and Cody Rhodes came out like he's got the baby face thing down pat. I don't know what AEW was doing that made him not connect in terms of a baby face, because it seemed like, didn't he kind of fizzle?
yeah, they're just tired of seeing him always win.
Okay.
Like there was a so you had this guy. He had just debuted. He was undefeated. He was a boxer. His name was Anthony Agogo, and he's being built as like a future star. Got in there with Cody Rhodes, took the L.
Okay.
Um, Malachi Black when he debuted, he beat Cody Rhodes, and then they had a rematch. Cody Rhodes got him too. So Cody Rhodes just got kept getting put over, the new promising talent. People got tired of it, and they're like, he's just always winning.
Well,
He won the TNT title like 3 times, so they're just tired of seeing him win.
okay. Well, I don't know about WWE, but he's got the baby face thing down. That little movie does where he gives the kids the his little weightlifting belt.
Yep, always makes the moment.
Yeah. So it was everything that should have been. It was a back and forth between Gable and Cody. Highlighted Cody's selling. He sold during a commercial break. Chad Gable did a dragon screw leg whip on Cody, and he sold his leg for a fair amount of the match, and then like halfway through he just decided to stop selling it.
Well, he was getting ready for the babyface comeback.
Oh yeah, I mean whatever. That's a nitpick, but I noticed it because he was selling it so well. Um, the Otis thing kind of ruined the match for me because just out of nowhere, Otis just, I guess he decides to stare off into the audience. Or is there something with Otis staring off into the audience that I'm not aware of?
Um, do you know about the maximum male model thing?
No.
Okay. So, yes, then there is.
Okay.
So, these last couple weeks, the maximum male models, Maxine Dupree mainly, has been grooming Otis to become like the next male model.
Oh God.
Um, so like in the past 2 weeks, she and Massey and Mansoir have been in the crowd, and they would hand him a card, and you know Otis is smitten with Maxine Dupree as he should be. So yes, this week he was looking out because like, where is she? She hadn't shown up yet.
Okay. Well, it was stupid.
Yeah, and then you have Cody. He comes out and he's like, "Is that her over
They
there?"
did
It's like,
shtick.
yeah,
Just shtick.
but Otis has some good taste. I'll just say that.
Yeah, I'm looking at her now. Yeah, I'm looking at her deep fakes now.
Boy, you got there quick.
Yeah.
They got there quick, I should say. and then this leads to a so he throws Otis after this little back and forth thing. Otis realized, hey, this is Cody talking to me, and Cody Rhodes is standing by the barricade. Otis charges at him. He throws him over the barricade. That's the last you see of Otis. Cody, he hits a beautiful, one of his best Cody cutters
That was really good.
in
Either it was
into.
Gable or it was Cody, but it was really well done.
I
Because
think
all
it
the
was,
Cody cutters
yeah,
before
both.
that it just seems like an awkward fucking move.
Yeah, but he sold it beautifully,
Yeah,
and Cody probably hit the right place too.
right.
So equally equal credit there. And then equally as devastating looking was the crossroads, as
Yes.
Gable landed right on his head.
He planted himself.
Yeah,
It was good. It was really good.
and and that was your win. Cody Rhodes, of course, would win because he's building towards his match with Roman.
Right?
Um, I I hope on the other side of, let's just say the other side of WrestleMania. Now, I guess it is worth noting, and we don't have it written down, but there's reports that the King of the Ring tournament is coming back.
Yep. King of the Ring, and they're doing of course, women's.
Yeah, Queen of the Ring,
Yeah.
but and they're doing it all in Saudi. But I
Oh,
would hope on the other
that's
side of.
rich.
Yeah, we could. That could be something to be unpacked on its own. But
Yeah.
um, I was saying, I hope on the other side, maybe the other side of WrestleMania, going into the King of the Ring. Um, I hope they start building Chad Gable as a credible source of, because he's great in the ring. Like maybe we could start letting him get some wins under his belt, and then um, make him at least a credible challenge or credible competitor going into the King of the Ring. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say maybe I wouldn't say he makes a deep run or anything like that because he already did that and it created Shorty G. But he could at least like make a deep run. Imagine him like facing off against Gunther
Yeah,
in
it'd be
King of the
great.
Ring, like
He's
semifinals or something.
he's really good, and he looks like one of those people that are really deceptively strong.
Yeah, he is. He's
And
stacked.
he's definitely a wrestler.
So yeah, I hope they give him some kind of a push.
Yeah, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think they need to get rid of Otis. Let
Well,
Otis do something
apparently
else.
that
Yeah,
they
it
are
does seem
teasing
like
that
that.
with the
Yeah.
male models. So, so after the match, Cody he cuts a promo, and what did he say on this promo? He said what I said. That's what he said. You want to know what he said? Go back and listen to me last week, and that's what he said. He said that Roman Reigns is going to be at SmackDown, and that's great news because so am I. I'm going to SmackDown to confront or to face Roman Reigns. He didn't say confront. He said face Roman Reigns. Later, Paul Heyman would build it up as he's going to confront Roman Reigns. So he basically said what I said last week.
There you go. I
We
mean,
then go. Uh,
no, go ahead.
we then go to Baron Corbin. He's doing a backstage segment again where he's getting interviewed, and he gets cut off. They do this time it's Byron Saxton. He gets cut off. Um, said, "Oh, something important's happening." as they're interviewing Baron Corbin. Excuse me. This time it is Kevin Owens.
Which means we might potentially get a Kevin Owens Baron Corbin match next week.
Maybe, but they did already announce Kevin Owens was gonna face Solo Sikoa.
Oh. Well, maybe Corbin will do something. He'll get his retribution.
Yeah, so same segment there, and then they talked to Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens said that he is going to take down the bloodline, and he won't stop until he does. By himself, I guess.
By himself. He made sure to point that out.
Yeah, of course. He's not going to do it with Sammy. We then move on to Judgment Day. One Rhea Ripley, she comes out to the ring, and oh no, sorry, this was not in the ring. This was all a backstage segment. Rhea Ripley talks about she's going to be the champion. Dominic says that they were going to go to, so they played up that they were going to be at SmackDown again. Um, Dominic said he was going to confront his deadbeat dad because he knows he's not going to do anything. And then Finn Balor challenges Edge to a match at WrestleMania. So it's funny that everybody had a little thing to do. So you had Rhea Ripley talking about how she was going to beat Charlotte Flair. She also mentioned that she didn't need to say anything to Charlotte because when she looked in her face, she saw something, whatever. So she tried to, they tried to make sense of why she built up that she was going to SmackDown, and then they got on SmackDown and didn't say a word to, or didn't get on the microphone. And then, so you have Rhea talking, you have Dom talking about Rey Mysterio being a deadbeat dad, and he's going to confront him. You have Finn Balor. He's talking about facing Edge at WrestleMania, and then Damian Priest is just there. It's like, yeah, guys.
See, he's the Sokoa
They're,
Joe of the group.
yeah, he's like got nothing.
Yeah.
But it's funny that they're all talking, and he's with them, and they're all talking about each of their individual feuds that's going on, and then he's just like, yeah. But he didn't even say anything, but he's just standing out because like, what are you gonna do? Who are you feuding with?
They all look at him expectantly.
Yeah.
Little smiles on their faces.
And it is worth the note that Finn Balor, he did a interview with the Bump over the week, and he hinted that after WrestleMania they're going to be adding more. They may be. He wants to add another member to Judgment Day. Um, I don't even know who that could be.
Nikki
I don't know
Cross.
who would fit in. Um, I guess it could be Nikki Cross,
Ooh, what
but I
if
was
it's
thinking of another Cross.
Carrion?
Yeah, I was thinking Karrion Cross because he definitely needs a little bit more, and I think the Judgment Day can help. The only problem is now you have two women in the group. You have Rhea Ripley and Scarlett, and usually there's only one woman in the group, even though the NWO did it because wherever the Macho Man goes, Miss Elizabeth goes. But then another, you had another woman in the group. I forgot who it was. Was it Jackie?
There was Jackie. Wasn't Sherry in it as well? Jackie. Woman. Woman was in it.
Yeah. So you had more women in
Was
it
it?
in the group there.
No, I'm confused. I mean, I feel like Woman was a part of it.
I know there was another. I know definitely there was another woman. Um, and it wasn't Medusa. But yeah. So they had two women in it. So I guess you could technically do two women in the Judgment Day.
Eh.
Since Rhea Ripley is definitely a wrestler and Scarlett's just a handler.
No, did you not see Scarlett's match a couple weeks ago?
Oh, I saw
It
it.
was pretty
Boy,
good.
did I see it. But she hasn't wrestled since. I don't think they're gonna do the wrestling
That's
thing
because
with
she's
her.
an attraction.
Oh, she is.
She's like Roman
Go
Reigns.
ahead, keep going. You ain't gonna get me to turn on Scarlett.
Just like Roman Reigns, she only has to wrestle sparingly. She can't just wrestle every night. She's not like Rhea Ripley.
Well, I would prefer it if she didn't wrestle again. It'd be super special attraction.
Yeah.
Just be attractive. You don't have to be an attraction.
I think
Just be attractive.
I think they said Scarlett was trained in Stu Hart's dungeon, which shows
Oh, what do
because
you
of
have?
her which which
Did Karen
shows
Cross know about that?
yeah, yeah, he's okay with it. But it shows because, her mat wrestling abilities, her submissions, flawless.
Well,
And my favorite part is how she lip syncs herself to herself singing every single night. Great.
it is great. And she looks good doing it always. Except for last week. She was off last week. I mean, you know, you can't always have an on night. Sometimes your makeup's gonna be off. You're just gonna look like trash. That's just life.
She looked like trash. Is that
Yes.
what...
She
All right.
last week wasn't it
There you
wasn't it
go.
last week. I I know she can give better, and last week was not her best showing. Even Jordan had off games, so there's nothing wrong with it. Last week she just had an off week.
Okay.
Anyway, what was I even talking about? Oh, yes, maybe Karrion Cross could be the extra addition to Judgment Day.
What about Eric Young?
Eric Young would fit too, if he's indeed in the company. Um, and apparently he is. They just are looking for something for him to do.
Well,
So yeah, that would be a good fit too. But yes, Judgment Day is looking to expand. Um, After the Judgment Day, we move on to a Otis match. Or was it the match? No, we move on to an Otis segment. We didn't get the match yet. So Otis is backstage. He's talking with the Maximum Male models. Um, Maxine Dupree says it would be great if she could see him wrestle in the ring and be out there as his manager. And Otis was like, "Oh yeah," and he's like, "We can make that happen, Pierce. Give me a match." So then he wants a match later so that he can have Maxine Dupree as his manager.
okay. I missed that. I'm sad.
Um, I think I missed a segment, maybe. So after that, we had a Asuka match Asuka was to face against Carmella. They played up the fact that Asuka has never beat Carmella. They've faced each other in like 2 times before, and Asuka hasn't beat her since.
She beat her in the Elimination Chamber.
One on one. Sorry, Asuka's not beat her one on one. That's what they played up.
Oh. Well, they were the last
Um,
two standing.
what are you arguing with me for? I said that's what they played up.
I'm just okay.
Now, unfortunately for me, I had errands to run during this part of the show, so completely missed the match. But I know that Oscar won, so couldn't tell you what happened during the match. But again, I know that Oscar won, and then when I came back from my errand, it was already up to the next segment. So I don't know if anything happened in between then, but there was a another segment, another women's match, which was Piper Niven versus Candice LeRae, and Candice LeRae won that match. And I caught the end of that, so couldn't tell you how we got to that match, couldn't tell you what happened during that match. So I missed both of those segments essentially.
I don't think you really missed anything. Except the Oscar match was probably good.
Yeah. So yeah, anything happened in between that? Sorry. We then move on to a Miz TV segment. Um, Miz, he comes out. He talks about. First of all, this segment was awkward. I'm gonna just say it now.
Well, especially considering that they did it the week before.
Well, this was because remember I told you they played up that the Miz had this announcement and he was gonna reveal it next week. Well, this was the week, and um, the announcement. If you listened to me last week, I already told you what it was gonna be. The Miz is the host of WrestleMania 39. Um, Out comes Seth Rollins, and this is where it got pretty awkward. So Seth is wanting the Miz to call to get Logan Paul, uh, or I'm sorry, to contact Logan Paul, and the Miz basically refuses to do it, which leads to Seth Rollins super kicking the Miz using his face, or he super kicked the Miz to knock him out. He took his phone. It's an iPhone, so it has Face ID on it. So he put the phone in Miz's face that was unconscious, but he opened his eyes, which is weird because you can unlock Face ID without opening your eyes. Little detail there, but I think you can. Um, so you have the Miz's phone. He uses Face ID, and he FaceTimes Logan Paul.
Oh, I thought you took a selfie. I didn't know.
No, he FaceTimes Logan Paul.
Huh.
Logan Paul answers, and then um, Seth says you should come to Monday Night Raw next week. And this is part of why I said that they just kept building it as a commercial for next week.
Right.
So he invites Logan Paul to Raw. Logan Paul accepts. He says, "Can't wait to see you run your mouth and when we're face to face or something like that." And Logan Paul will show up next week. Oh, Seth also made a comment about Jake Paul losing his first boxing match to Tommy Fury or whoever the hell he lost to.
Yeah, he lost by decision. Split decision.
Yeah. So they made fun of that, and then yeah, they're
As
gonna
a,
have a face off next week.
Yeah, there's a lot of people making fun of Jake Paul for that.
Well,
He's
I
not.
guess while we're talking about fighting, did do you know if John Jones won his return? It was tonight.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
No, but I can find out. I wouldn't be surprised if he did.
Oh, he actually did,
Yeah, there you go.
and basically pretty easily, essentially.
Who do you fight?
So this was against what's the guy's name? Zion Clark,
Okay.
and yeah, he made it look easy, and John Jones wins his return fight. I know some people were interested in that, so there you go. Because you don't need to miss anything. Uh,
Do you
Also,
want?
there's something about him dating Holly Holmes or something. I don't know. That's so far sidetracked.
Do you win the heavyweight championship?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
I
that
know.
was the thing. He moved up to the heavyweight division for his little comeback,
And you
and now
just.
he just won the title.
Just how many heavyweight fights has you had?
That one.
Okay.
They do the Vince McMahon thing. You just come back and get title shots. I
That's
mean,
crazy.
he was undefeated as a light heavyweight, so
Well, I understand
I
that,
mean, if you're
but
moving
he's
up,
moving up a weight class. You would think like he'd have at least one or two fights in that weight class before he gets the a title shot.
true.
Like think about it. You're training for a fight, and then you get bumped for somebody better than you because that better person decided to eat a couple Twinkies.
Well, I don't know about that. I
Well,
don't know if it's Twinkies that got him to the weight class. He looks pretty. He looks pretty solid.
I don't know. It looked like he had
So I
kind
don't
of
know
a
if
beer
that's what.
gut. Oh well. Well, good for him
I
though.
mean, it's just yeah. So there. If you're interested in that, there you go. If you weren't, sorry. But it's interesting. It's more interesting in talking about Logan Paul and the Miz segment. I'll just say that. But it was yeah. I was saying it was an awkward segment because it was obviously the FaceTime part with Logan Paul was pre-recorded. So you have Seth trying to talk to something that you already know is pre-recorded.
Right.
So the timing there, he's like, you gotta get the line in before his recorded segment keeps going.
When Logan Paul didn't even try to look at the make it seem like he was looking at a camera screen.
Yeah, it was just all weird. But there you have it. He'll be at the show next week. Um, and then also on the back of that, we go to a theory segment. Oh, no, so we go to a damage control, talking about that they're going to win the main event, and Lita and Becky aren't even a team, and they're the greatest tag team in the women's division. Well, you know, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying. They're the greatest women tag team of all time. That's what they said. And then they leave. Um, right on the back of that, you have Theory. He then talks about next week he's going to confront John Cena,
Ooh.
who will be returning. He talked something about John Cena having the hustle, loyalty, and respect. And next week he hopes John Cena can show him the respect he needs. So obviously they're building to their match. But again, it was just something that's building towards next week.
Should be good.
Uh, we then go on to Lashley versus Elias because how we how we got to this match is so last week Elias was telling Rick Boogs to take notes on how it's done,
Oh,
which led to Elias getting his ass beat by Bobby Lashley. And then they have a backstage segment of Elias talking to Boogs, and Boogs uh, he's like, "Were you took notes on that?" That's what Elias is saying, and he's like, "Well, that's because it wasn't a proper match. You see, this was all a plan to get Bobby Lashley
this is
to WrestleMania." And he's like, if it was a proper match, no doubt I'd beat Bobby Lashley. So that's how we got to this match,
okay.
and of course, Lashley wins,
Of course.
as you would expect.
Yeah, the only thing worth noting was the fact that Boogs was taking notes. I missed the segment last week, or I forgot about it. Either pick your poison there, but yeah, that kind of makes more sense now.
Yeah. Um, right after the match, which was no more than 90 seconds. That's being generous. Lashley cuts a promo on um, Bray Wyatt. Says Bray Wyatt wants to play his little kid games, and basically he's gonna beat Bray Wyatt's ass. As he's leaving the ring, the Firefly Funhouse logo pops up on the Titantron, and we get a Muscle Man dance playing over the Titantron. And yeah, that's pretty much what happened there.
Yeah, it was
Muscle
horrible.
Man dance. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you about that one.
Are you looking forward to this Bobby Lashley Bray Wyatt match? How do you feel about the story that they're telling?
Well, I actually think we need more of it, more of the story, because they haven't really started telling one yet.
So you need more dancing and puppets and smoke and turning the lights off.
Well, you could at least tell me why, why Lashley or why Lesnar. Like, tell me that at least. Like, why did you pick those two out? What's the reasoning behind you wanting them to know that you're coming for them? Like, at least give me that much.
Mm,
I'm just saying. You can at least give me that much.
right. Okay.
Um, and then we go to our main event of Monday Night Raw. The tag team champions of Damage Control versus Becky Lynch and Lita. As you would guess, Lita and Becky Lynch won this match. They are the new tag team women's champion. They will be going to WrestleMania probably to face Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey.
Or it'll be a
Uh,
three-way.
yes, or a three-way match because Damage Control kind of got screwed here. What happened, you say? Well, during the midst of this, first of all, and I feel kind of bad saying it, but Lita has definitely lost a step. She was, her timing was slow. Like, there was a lot of moves where EO was like waiting for her because she was like slow on her delivery, and it's not EO because it is EO.
Right.
So she was behind, like, or yeah, she couldn't keep up with what EO was doing. So there was moments where EO was like waiting for her to get her spot in, and you had a moment at the end here where Bailey was trying to run interference, and then all of a sudden Trish Stratus music hits and outruns Trish Stratus. She Thez presses Bailey, and then she helped. That basically was enough to help even the score. So Becky and Lita was able to win the match and become your new women's tag team champions.
Okay.
Why Trish Stratus was there doesn't make sense.
None of
Maybe
it made sense.
maybe they're trying to do like a three-way or a six-woman tag or something. I don't know. It was odd that Lita was there. It was odd that Trish is there. Why are they being brought back? We don't need them for WrestleMania. Like, maybe they're just trying to do the star power, but we don't need Lita. We don't need Trish, and they don't need to be. And Becky didn't need to be a champion. She could have just gotten a match.
Yep. Well, it seems like
And
they're putting the belts on Lita and Becky just so Ronda and Shayna Baszler have Becky and Lita as opponents. And I know
yeah, so they can get their run.
I read something that there's twists and turns still with the women's tag team championships, but I don't know what twists and turns that they're gonna do. Like just before War Games, they had Io and Dakota Kai lose to Asuka and Alexa Bliss. Then they won them back, and then you basically haven't seen them since War Games. So I
Yeah,
mean, I think it's a joke that they did them
well,
this way.
to their credit, Dakota was hurt,
So
so they couldn't defend the titles. Why they didn't get stripped of the titles is another question, but
I don't know.
I don't know. They're just they're just like toys to be sold. Essentially, those titles, they're not serious at all. They're about as worth. They held about the same worth as the 24/7 title, but
Yeah.
you have new champions, so there's that. But that does it for your Monday Night Raw. Again, we have a build coming for next week's Monday Night Raw, and again, it looks like it's going to be. Hopefully, this coming Monday Night Raw will be better. John Cena being back, Logan Paul, Seth Rollins having their face to face. It should all kind of iron out this whole WrestleMania picture. But let's move on to SmackDown.
All right.
SmackDown. You
Roman
want to
op-
take it or you want me to take it?
Yeah, Roman opens the show immediately. He comes out flanked by Jimmy, Sokoa Joe, and Paul Heyman. Um, Roman tells the crowd to acknowledge him, and just before he starts to get into it, Cody's music hits. Cody says he came out to talk to Roman man to man, and there's no reason for the others to be around. And then he looks at him and goes, "Unless you need them here," which that was great. Roman sends everybody to the back. Roman sets the belts between them, and then he looks at Cody and says, "So what do you want to talk about?" Which that was great too. Cody gives Roman praise. Then he says Roman has become, for all the other superstars, Roman has become this unclimbable mountain. But that's kind of become his thing. He mentions that he's not supposed to have overcome being the second banana to Randy Orton. He mentions that he's supposed to crash and burn after the Stardust gimmick. He mentions AEW, saying that him and his little indie buddies weren't supposed to have created a major wrestling company. He said Roman Reigns might be impossible, but just not for me. So Roman laughs at that and does his little smirk. And then he goes, "Hey, let me ask you, have you ever won this one?" He points to one of the championships. He goes, "Have you even competed for any of these? Have you main evented a WrestleMania? Because I've done all of that. I'm the most experienced main event of all time." He says, I've been groomed for this. Not only by my daddy, but your daddy." And he goes into how much Dusty mentored him. And he did like the worst Dusty impression I've ever heard. It's pretty bad. And then he looks at Cody, he goes, "We talked about a whole lot of things. And you want to know what he said about you? Nothing. He may have talked about you when Becky was in the ring or Seth or all these other people, but when he was around me, it's like you never even existed." Great line. He goes, "I know Dusty's not here anymore, but if there's anything he didn't teach you, I will." So then he goes and tries to shake Cody's hand, and you can see Cody's a little rattled, and he goes, "Man, I'm playing on a different on a different field. This isn't chess. You didn't send Paul Heyman out to screw with me. You sent him out to tell the truth. And the truth is that one of Dusty's fabled kids is actually better than his legitimate kid. And in truth, you are the son that Dusty always wanted." And he said that changes everything. And now it becomes a necessity that I have to beat you. You said that I don't exist, and I have to exist, and the only way to exist is to beat you at WrestleMania. And then they both shake hands. And it was great.
It was superb. There was a lot of a lot of takeaways that I got from this.
Okay.
Uh, so number one, I, I patted myself on the back quite hard, so hard I almost broke my arm. Because I remember saying this almost exact thing last week. Like we didn't get any information about like what Cody has had to overcome. His story. He tackled the story.
But I told you that we have. You just need to pay attention.
Well, he hadn't said it.
He doesn't need to say
Um,
it. You just need to pay attention.
I said, why didn't he go to SmackDown? Like, why doesn't he chase Roman? Roman's the champion. Go after him. He doesn't need to come to you. Cody Rhodes came to SmackDown. Uh, so there's another like it's almost like I don't know. They heard the show and then took my idea and ran with it.
Well,
I know.
you should write to their legal department. Let's see if we can get some royalties.
I know. It's not likely that they were one of the two
One of the
gears we had
two.
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, it was word for word. Well, not word for word, 'cause I didn't write like a script or anything. But everything I said that should happen, it happened. So now I am behind fully this whole feud.
Just stupid. Okay.
Um, Obviously Roman bodied Cody in this whole promo thing.
What?
So we're gonna have to we're gonna have to get that back.
What?
But
How did
oh, Roman
Roman
bodied it.
body? Oh, fuck you. No, he didn't.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Well, first of all, after Cody Rhodes said, you know, the doing the impossible is kind of my thing, and he ran down, all that he's overcome, and then the first thing Roman said was like, "Oh, you're good," like and such a dick move. He was like, "You're good." It's almost like you've been rehearsing that all week. Like such a dick move there. And then talking about, have you ever you've never even come close to any of these titles. Like I am the main events right now. You haven't even sniffed the main event. And now we're at WrestleMania? Like you haven't even competed for a title. Now we're at WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all. And you think you're going to overcome the most experienced main eventer of all time? Like I don't know. He bodied Cody, I think.
Cody came out and he ran off the rest of the bloodline. He called Roman a pussy. And then he said, "Oh, okay, so you want to be the son that Dusty never want or always wanted? Well, then now I gotta beat you." And you can even tell as Roman was entering or leaving the ring, he even kind of looked at him like, "Oh shit, I done fucked up." So no, Roman didn't body nothing. He had some good lines. I like the what he said. Have you ever won one of these, or which one did you win? That was good. I like that. But maybe Roman needs to rehearse because his lines aren't always flawless.
Well, I'm not talking about delivery or anything. I'm talking about like what he said. Like he
Well, then if we're talking about what he
set the
said,
picture.
he called Roman a pussy. First of all, like there's 5 men in the ring. Cody comes out, calls the biggest one a pussy, makes the biggest one force his gang to leave so they can talk one on one. Cody could have done anything he wanted.
Yeah, they didn't get physical.
Nope, they didn't,
Um,
and that's good. I'm okay with that. If they don't touch until WrestleMania, that'd be great. I don't want to see them in little tag team matches. I don't want to see them in little singles matches before the like if you're selling this match on to me, then that
yeah,
needs to be a match.
yeah, they need to. There should be no physicality between them until WrestleMania.
Exactly.
Not, yeah, no stupid tag team matches and all that shit. Mm-mm. Um, I do want to point out though the when Cody came first, Roman came out, Cody came out,
Yeah.
like just like before they even said a word to each other, just them two entrances alone. I know you don't like the sing along thing, but just the entrances along it alone, it just felt like this is a main event. Just the entrances, like they both have. You could say they have the two best entrances right now in wrestling. Like they both have entrances that make them like main event guys.
Oh, absolutely. Cody's entrance is fantastic, and of course Roman's is a spectacle. It really is like a someone godlike, almost like Xerxes
Yeah,
coming out. Um, yeah, they both have really good entrances. I noticed that Cody he had pyro. He had pyro
yeah.
Monday and Friday.
Now I almost hoped. that we didn't get this until WrestleMania. Like just seeing them, like the entrances, the full blown entrances together. But yeah, just seeing them
Oh,
both
if you think
together,
that's going to
like
be anything like the WrestleMania entrances, you're nuts.
oh yeah, it's gonna be grander. It's gonna
How
be more. We're
how
gonna be
long
like
were
10
those
minutes of
entrances?
entrances.
Do you know?
Um, I don't. I know
Okay.
Romans was like 7 minutes maybe,
Okay.
and
I
then
I
I
know
didn't get
Cody's
the
was
time of
shorter,
Cody's.
which surprised me because I thought he'd come out and do a little ring of slapping hands and then do it again.
Yeah, and he did say he talked to, I forgot who he talked to, but he did talk to someone, and he said he has something special planned for WrestleMania entrance wise.
Okay.
So we are gonna get more spectacle. It's gonna be get even grander. I'm gonna have a hard on.
Well, the entrances are kind of like the Super Bowl commercials.
Yeah, yeah. The WrestleMania entrances, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta be special with those things. Um, but yeah, I'm excited for this match now. Now that we've seen them face to face,
I mean,
and
I've
I'm
been
looking forward
excited.
to.
There's nothing they said to each other was anything that like, oh wow. I mean, some there were some really good lines, and I like I like I like how Cody delivered the "unless you need them here," and then I like when Roman mentioned how Cody hasn't even been close to the stage that he's on right now.
Yeah.
But again, it's not anything that they needed to lay out for me.
Well, I even got to I mean, maybe because I was hearing people talk about it over the week, and maybe I misinterpreted it. I got it at the end of the promo where he's like, it's a necessity for me to beat you. Um, the way I interpreted it was because, you were this golden child, I have to beat you, which is, and maybe that's just because what I was saying last week. Like, why did you need to beat Roman specifically? Not just become champion. I need to beat you to prove all this, and that was my takeaway. Like, I need to beat you to prove that.
I'm better than
I
the
don't know.
golden child,
Yeah, or
or better than the
my
hand
dad.
picked.
Yeah, I need to beat the handpicked guy for my dad or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I need to prove that you're not the son he wanted because I am, or I don't know. I don't know, something like that. Um,
I just think
but
now he has to
maybe
beat
I
him.
misinterpreted it.
He just
Well, he's still not going to beat him, but
he will, but
well, let me take that back. He will beat him. He will beat Roman Reigns. It just won't be at WrestleMania.
but he will.
And last that segment even solidified it even more.
No, he will.
Okay.
Okay, we've done it 4 times. You want me to ask you a fifth, or do you want to?
Well, I'm just saying.
Or are you gonna do it? We'll talk about it offline again. Spoiler: we never talk about it offline.
Check. I'm just saying. Check the record. Who's called everything right on this
You didn't
whole
call shit
thing?
right.
I've been calling it right after right after right.
You didn't
Pretty
call
much
shit
writing
right.
this whole
Fuck you.
segment myself.
This promo on SmackDown is the same shit that I've been saying since day one. Just because I need to see it on TV because that's how my storytelling needs to be told. It needs to
I'm
be in
saying I'm telling
crown.
stories here.
Yeah. And I when I look at a story, I can go ahead and fill in the blanks myself. I don't need them to just flat out say it.
Well, just think about this. Just think about this. Okay? After what Cody Rhodes just said,
Mm-hmm.
it's a necessity that I need to exist. I have to beat Roman Reigns.
Mm-hmm.
If he does not beat Roman Reigns at WrestleMania, just imagine that. Just imagine that. After what he just said,
Mm-hmm.
to get there and fail, then what happens to Cody Rhodes?
He's Lex Luger. Then you see him. Then you see him on Dynamite again.
So you're just saying he's buried after that? And no more?
I mean, if you're
I
gonna
mean,
build
Lex
him,
Luger got in his own way, from what I heard. I was watching like a documentary thing, and basically they kept asking him if he could be the main event guy or something like that, and he just basically kept shooting his own self in the foot. So,
there's some truth to that, but they kind of fucked up. They he lost to didn't he lose to like Yokozuna or something? And then
hmm
they held a parade for him after that, like he did win. It was just really awkward. That kind of killed it.
well,
I'm just saying, you're building up all of this, all of the tension, all of the dissension between the entire bloodline. You got the Sammy and Kevin Owens. They're eventually they're gonna feud with the Usos. What iteration of the Usos it is, they're still gonna feud with them. So yeah, I think the tribal chief falls. And
well,
Cody exists afterwards.
I think they're clearly building for life after WrestleMania. Like this bloodline story, we got 3 weeks of WrestleMania. This bloodline story is not going to be finished in 3 weeks. It's going after WrestleMania. So, I yeah, I just think clearly this whole thing is going to be going on after WrestleMania. This bloodline thing, and for it to go on after WrestleMania. Now, this also,
For it to go on after WrestleMania, Roman does not need the belts.
well, this I was going to say this is also with a caveat that I am under the full belief that once Roman Reigns takes the pin, loses the titles, he's going to go away for maybe ever. So that's why I think that it's not going to end at WrestleMania, because if it does end at WrestleMania, we're not going to see Roman anymore. There's not enough. The 3 weeks is not enough to put a bow on the whole thing. Now, if he
Roman
is
could
still
go away,
around,
but he doesn't have to go away right away.
well, I did see a report though. Speaking of which, that either way, now they said either way, after WrestleMania, Roman Reigns is still slated to be the top guy in the company.
Well, that's dumb.
Um,
You got the top guy in the company. It's Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare.
well, what I was getting at is him saying it's a necessity to
Wrestling
beat
has
Roman
more than
Reigns.
one royal family.
Yeah, him saying it was a necessity to beat Roman Reigns and whatever he was saying. If he goes, when he goes and he fails at that, the rebuild for him to now get back to the main event and now tackle Roman Reigns. There's your story. There's your story of building Cody Rhodes. Um, there's your. Speaking of which, did you notice that this crowd was very 50-50 split? Now, Roman Reigns is supposed to be the heel. When he's in the ring with Sammy, he's not getting 50-50 split. He's getting straight booed.
When he's in the
When
ring
he's
with
in the ring
Sammy,
with
they've been
Cody,
in
this is 50-50
Canada.
split.
Just stop it. Don't do that. I can't.
They
I'm
weren't
not
at the
gonna.
Royal
I'm not
Rumble.
gonna let you sit there and bullshit. They were in Canada.
They weren't in Canada at the Royal Rumble when he was getting fucking Roman chants.
Well, that's because that was a big storyline.
Well,
And I
I'm just
mentioned,
saying
and
the story
I wrote
is
down specifically that Cody Rhodes got the biggest cheer on Raw. They mentioned Kevin Owens. They mentioned Sami Zayn. When they mentioned Cody Rhodes' name,
well.
crowd was
First of all,
louder for that.
that crowd didn't even. They may have been on the spectrum. That crowd.
All
Everyone in.
right, all right.
second, of, second of all,
They were cheering for somebody that I don't want them to cheer for, so they're on the spectrum. Yeah, that.
no,
Listen to what you're
I
saying. Listen to what you're saying.
I'm saying that crowd sucked. I don't know why. That I'm just saying they weren't all there. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Really.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, bigot.
Um, and I want Cody Rhodes to win, and I think Cody Rhodes will win. He's just not going to win at WrestleMania. He's going to win at maybe SummerSlam. He's going to win it later.
That'll be
I
WrestleMania.
just I know he's not winning, but yeah.
It'll be WrestleMania. It'll be okay.
Well, we'll see.
We will see.
Um,
I,
we
you know
move
how
on
confident
to.
I am.
All right. How you want to do it? We'll do it.
Are we gonna talk
You
about
want?
it later?
We'll put a we put a case on it.
What's the case? Come on now.
I don't know.
Don't don't be speaking your language.
No, that's what
In American now.
that's what Skip and Shannon always talk about.
Oh, a
Put it
case of
a
Mountain Dew.
case of alcohol, or I don't know what case they're
No, they
talking
do
about.
Mountain Dew.
Oh,
Diet
Mountain
Mountain
Dew.
Dew.
Oh, I don't want that.
Nobody wants that.
No, we're gonna do something. I don't want to mention it yet.
Yeah, we'll
I
talk
got it.
about it later. We'll talk about it
Yeah,
off
I got
air.
it.
We'll talk about it off air, folks.
Yeah. So we then move on to Liv Morgan. She is in a match against Rhea Ripley.
Hmm.
Um, so Rhea Ripley wins this match. Do you want to? You skipped the segment,
I
so
sure
this is
shit
perfect.
did.
This is perfect to ask. How do
Uh-huh.
you think Rhea Ripley won the match? I'll give you A, B, or C.
Oh, okay.
Did she win by pinfall? Did she win by tap out? Or did she win by pass out?
I'm gonna say pass out.
And that is incorrect.
Oh, okay.
She made Liv tap out. She actually made Liv tap out.
Oh, well, shit.
She hit a riptide, and then instead of going for the pin, she gets a clover leaf, like a, um, I forgot the name she calls it. It's like a standing clover leaf. But then
Okay.
she, from the clover leaf position, she then puts her knee on the back of Liv's head, kind of like a Walls of Jericho. So a cloverleaf Walls of Jericho combination thing, and yeah, Liv was forced to do nothing but tap out
Huh. That's
because
surprising.
I was surprised too. I actually wrote down when she got the move out that Rhea beats Liv by pass out, and then I crossed it out and said she actually made Liv tap.
Yeah, there's something I did that for. I can't remember.
uh, and there was a segment, or so after the match was over, they showed this little thing where one of the girls in the arena were crying because Liv lost.
Oh my god.
Just don't say anything here, okay? And let me just get this out, okay? I'm gonna say it, and then we're gonna move on. We're not gonna comment on it. So there was this little girl. She was crying because Liv lost, and then they released something later on WWE.com where Liv Morgan she met that little girl backstage. She gave her like this biggest hug, and she gave her like high fives, and she said, "How old are you?" The little girl said she's 10, and she said, "Well, make sure to wrestle 8 more years so we can be tag team champions." So the takeaway of all that was Liv Morgan. There was a fan crying because Liv Morgan lost, and Liv Morgan took the time out of her busy, I'm sure, schedule to cheer that fan up. All right, so there's the story. You don't need to comment on it. There's just information there. It's a feel good story. Well, we don't need you to do what you do.
Okay, fine. I'm just gonna watch the video of Chucky stabbing Liv Morgan. That'll balance it out.
Um, so we go to backstage. Roman is sitting with Jimmy. He asked about Jey Uso. Said, "Have you heard from him yet?" So we're back to the we need Jimmy here, and Jimmy says that he just needs more time, Moose. And Roman asks, "I mean, how could he do this to us?" I love how Roman first he's like, "How could he do this to the bloodline?" And then he immediately like switches and is like, "How could he do this to you, Jimmy?"
Yeah.
Like he's planting the seed, like, you know,
Very
he's
manipulative.
doing this to you. Yeah.
He did that
And
with
it's a callback.
in the Royal Rumble too, when he was trying to get Sammy to attack Owens with the chair. He goes, he doesn't want to do anything for you. I love you.
Yeah.
Kind of like a cult leader.
Yeah. It was just great how he turned it. And it was a callback to like the start of the bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
Because they had a Hell in a Cell match, but it was also a I Quit match. It was an I Quit match that was in a Hell in a Cell.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And yeah, and Roman he just couldn't get Jay to quit. Whatever he did with him, Jay would not quit. So to win the match, he actually attacked Jimmy Uso because he knows that he couldn't hurt Jay enough, but he could hurt Jimmy, which would then hurt Jay, and that's what made him quit.
Okay.
Jimmy was also injured at the time, so um, there was that too. So it's kind of a callback to that. Jay is like Roman knows he can't control Jay right now, so he's now okay. I can't get you, but I can get Jimmy, which then will control you.
Okay. I guess that makes
But
sense.
yeah, Roman is diabolical in that way.
You're saying he's like Heisenberg?
Yeah, who's who's a great person, by the way.
Heisenberg?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're saying he wasn't?
No.
Oh,
Why was he a good person?
I don't know. I mean, he cared about his family, cared about Jesse.
He said it himself in the finale that he only did it for himself because he liked the power. and he was bad at it. And he ruined his family for a small, minuscule amount of power that he kept fucking up every step of the way. Every time he would get in, like with the Tuco thing, like he had a good thing going on, and he's like, "Oh no, I'm gonna promise 3 times as much as we can make," and then naturally I'm gonna fuck that up, and then
Yeah, I want more.
yeah, then I'm gonna meet Gus, the head honcho. I'm gonna fuck that up too. So no, he was not a good person. He was a dumbass. He was arrogant, and he didn't give a fuck whose life he ruined. It looked like Jesse.
Poor Jesse.
Jesse has to go to like one of them victim groups now because of what Walt did to him. No, he's not a good person. He's not a good criminal either.
Well,
I disagree in with every word that you said with him being a good person.
well, honestly, I'll tell you, I forgot about the finale. I forgot about that. I saw the finale, but I forgot about that whole thing.
He also
Where he
he also
said
let
that
Jane
he did
die.
it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And he poisoned that kid. I want to say Hector. It's probably not Hector.
Yeah, I forgot that. Forgot the kid's name.
Yeah.
That's really going deep.
Yeah, don't fuck with me on Breaking Bad.
Well, I'm just saying, I forgot about that whole.
That's because you probably only watched it once.
No, I'm watching it again now.
No.
I'm on. I mean, I think I'm on season 3 now. I
Okay.
haven't watched it in a couple days because I stopped to watch Better Call Saul. But
Gotcha.
now I finished Better Call Saul. Well, I'm on the final season of Better Call Saul, and then I got to go back to Breaking Bad.
So are you watching them in order? Is that what you're doing?
No, I just I stopped watching one to watch the other because as I was watching it, I'm like, wait a minute, I haven't finished this one, so I gotta go finish this one.
Yeah, I need to. I'm waiting to buy Better Call Saul because I got all the other seasons.
Oh, yeah, I gotta. And oh, that's probably what did it. Because I heard that they were on the final season of Better Call Saul, and I was like, oh, well,
Yeah.
I better get caught up so I can watch this final season.
So did you finish it?
No,
Okay.
I'm on season 4,
Oh. Okay.
at the start of season 4.
Yeah, I do know that so far I think Better Call Saul is better.
It's it's definitely different, but I finally get caught up to him. It's like they're turning the season now, or turning into what we know of, or what I knew of Saul Goodman,
Okay.
because he's working at that little ice cream shop, and the guy recognized him from the commercial,
Hmm.
and now he's talking about going back, and he's like, but they know me as Saul, so or Saul Goodman. They know me as Saul Goodman. It's not whatever. What was his other name? His real
Jimmy.
name? Yeah. Anyway, we got off so
Slip,
far.
slipping Jimmy.
Yeah, we got so far away. from what we're actually off the rails, is what they would say.
That's okay. We can stop and make time for Breaking Bad.
We'd have to do a whole episode on it itself.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, so that's the backstage segment uh, with Roman Reigns, and then we get to um, Santos Escobar. So after the Rhea match, Dominic and Rhea, they're walking backstage. Santos Escobar, he comes in screen. He says, essentially, your dad can't hit you, but I can. So I'm challenging you to a match. If you have any balls, leave Rhea Ripley here. He didn't, of course. So when we come back from the commercial. Santos Escobar is facing Dominic. Uh, Speeding to the end of the match, Dominic pulls out brass knuckles like he's going to hit Escobar, and the ref sees it, so she's now messing around with Dominic to get the brass knuckles. All the while, Rhea Ripley pulls Escobar outside the ring, hits him with a riptide, throws him back in the ring, and Dom wins off of a frog splash at Eddie Guerrero. I know. And then, and then, post match, he takes the mask that Ray gave to Santos Escobar. Dominic takes that mask and he rips it up. And as they're walking out the stage, out comes Rey Mysterio, and he asks for the mask back. Now it's a ripped mask, remember that. So he's asking for the mask back. Dominic's like, "Well, hit me, and I'll give you the mask back." Ray says, "I'm not gonna hit you." Dominic throws the mask on the ground. Ray bends over to pick it up, and then Dominic hits him with a cheap shot. And that's how that segment ended.
When is
We
he
are
going to
still
learn?
building.
How many cheap shots does he have to take to realize that he's going to get assaulted?
Well, I don't know. He's stupid babyface syndrome.
Okay.
Um, we're building to the moment where Ray is going to hit the shit out of Dominic, and the pop that we're going to get out of that is going to be great.
If you say so.
And then I guess it's going to be within a couple weeks because we got the WrestleMania match coming.
Mm-hmm.
If they do that, I don't know if they're going to do that, but if they do, we got 3 weeks for Ray to to go old school, as they would say. This is back in the day. There was no kid talking to their parent like that. They
what,
got
if,
snatched up real quick.
what if Adrian Peterson comes in Mysterio's
Yeah,
corner?
Adrian Peterson. You think his kid would be talking like that? Some dads don't play around like that. So Rey Mysterio will be. We are building to that, and it will happen soon. After that segment, um, there's a commercial. Why am I talking about a commercial? Because it was another WrestleMania 39 commercial. This one was Montez Ford and Bianca Belair. They're they're replaying the Titanic. Mainly the part where the what was her name? I don't know. The Titanic lady. She was standing on the edge of the boat, and Leonardo DiCaprio was holding her, and she's like, "I'm flying." They pretty much replayed that.
What was your favorite part about the original Titanic movie?
Oh, the lady's boobs. That was the that was the takeaway. They showed
Okay.
boo.
That was a great answer.
Yeah. So um, this one wasn't even. This one fell flat. To be honest, it
With this one.
as wasn't as funny. It wasn't believable because, as you know, Montez and Bianca are African American, typically African American on big boats, don't end well, and they try to avoid them. So, don't know why they would have picked the Titanic for those two. To, hey, why don't you two go on a big boat? Because, yeah, last time for your people that worked out well.
Man, you're on something tonight. Is there some sort of message you need to get out
No, I had that written down as soon as it happened.
about
Like, that
about
was my
black people
takeaway.
being on boats?
Yeah,
Okay.
that was my takeaway. Why they put them two black people on a boat? They know they don't work out for this. You know we don't even like getting on boats.
I just don't know why you'd have the two worst actors mimicking a one of the more critically acclaimed movies.
Well, that was your takeaway. Mine was
I didn't see it.
uh, we we saw two different things on that.
We didn't see anything. I didn't see it. I didn't see 1 second of it. And after that Joker debacle,
You're skipping all of them.
that might be in Bray Wyatt category.
Well, after that commercial, we come back. Sami Zayn, he's doing a Facebook Live thing
He's a
or
terrorist now.
FaceTime. Yeah, he's talking about taking down the bloodline. He's amongst the crowd and they're cheering. At one point, they were cheering so loud you couldn't even hear Sammy anymore. Now, of course, he was so close to everybody that doesn't really count as him getting a huge pop, but you still couldn't hear him, so he is still over. But that was that, and
Yeah,
then
they
we
were
move
probably in
on.
Canada. They probably filmed
That's
that
where he
in
has to
Canada.
be.
Yeah. Hey guys, you need a big pop.
Speaking of Big Pop, the next segment, and I'll tell you why in a second. Drew McIntyre comes out, and he says that he doesn't have a WrestleMania opponent yet, and that leads him to call out Gunther
He literally
for,
calls out Gunther.
yes.
He says, Gunther, I'm calling you out.
Yeah, no one says the actual I'm
I
calling you
know.
out
It was
part.
very refreshing. I gotta be honest.
He did. He did. He called out Gunther. Instead of Gunther, we get Sheamus. Sheamus comes out and he's upset. He says, "What are you doing?" He said, uh, Drew McIntyre's like, "What are you doing out here?" It's like, "No, what are you doing? You going behind my back and challenging Gunther? You know what that title means to me." And Shame,
Drew tells him to calm down. He goes, calm down. Don't tell me to calm down. Like a woman.
yeah,
He's all hysterical over this. And then he says, I thought you were my brother, but you're just a backstabbing bastard. And then Drew says, okay, well, you want honesty? Friends are honest. You had your chance and you blew it twice. Then LA Knight interrupts. And he wants the IC title too. And then the New
now
Day.
that's where I was talking about the pop. That was the segue to the pop.
Okay.
LA
Yeah,
Knight got a
yeah, yeah.
huge pop.
I actually sat up. As soon as he came out, I'm like, okay, this is interesting. Then the New Day came out, and then I hit the skip button. So tell me what happened.
So, yeah. So, just to go back, LA Knight, he comes out, he got this huge pop. He's saying that you can't have a WrestleMania in LA without LA Knight. Funniest thing here is he's coming down to the ring cutting this promo. All the while, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus were arguing back and forth, not paying him any attention.
Whatsoever.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing. It was just like they cuts to them and it cuts to them and they're still arguing and he's talking.
Which I thought he was
But
gonna. I thought he was gonna keep talking, and I thought he was gonna get in the ring, and I thought they were just gonna both deck him, and
yeah, I could
that would have been the end of LA Night.
I could have saw that. But yeah, he gets in the ring. The New Day hits the ring or hit comes out. Uh, they actually said something that stung here. They're talking to LA Knight and they were like, "You." So their whole thing, they didn't say anything really about the Intercontinental title. They're like, "LA Knight, you want a match at WrestleMania? You can't even win on SmackDown." So yeah, kind of stung there.
It's true.
And then finally out comes Karrion Cross
Oh my god.
and Scarlett.
And a
Uh,
partridge in a pear tree.
and as I was mentioning before, everyone has off nights. Scarlett had an off night last week. Well, she was back in full form this week.
Okay.
She was on point this week. That's your Scarlett report of the week. And Karen Cross, without saying anything, he comes out and ensues a brawl between everybody that was out there. Um, it ends in Karen Cross standing tall in the ring. Uh, because I'm sorry, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus, they're still arguing in the ring. Um, and as the brawl's going on, there's a moment where Sheamus and Drew they share a look at each other like, "Were you about to attack me?" And then Drew McIntyre does a dive over the ropes to take out everybody. Karen Cross attacks Sheamus, who's left in the ring. So Karen Cross is standing tall. I didn't see it, but apparently, at some point after that, they made it official that there will be a fatal five way next week.
Oh boy.
Of those five, winner gets Gunther for the WrestleMania match.
Okay.
Um,
There's only like one person that I kind of want to see win, and they're not going to win it.
who's that?
It'd be LA Knight. Like we've seen Sheamus and Gunther. I don't want to see New Day and Gunther. Carrying Cross and Gunther would be okay, I guess. Just I don't know. He's almost damaged goods at this point.
Yeah, and he's a heel.
Yeah, that too. Which they don't care.
I mean, LA Knight's a heel, but with the reaction he's getting, he's about to not be heel anymore.
Right.
Like, you can't be getting that much cheers. Like, you got the crowd singing along, yeah.
And then Drew McIntyre is
Um,
basically Sheamus.
yeah. Now, this goes back to the whole rumor thing that they're gonna do. The plan was to do a triple threat match: Sheamus, Drew McIntyre, and Gunther. Um, I'm hoping that it's a one-on-one match. First
Same
of
here.
all, uh, like we don't need to muddy it, making it a triple threat or anything like that. I was initially thinking that it should be um, whoever faces Gunther should beat him for the title. Now, I don't even know if I think that anymore because they did say that he is I think 400 days as champion, the longest IC title reign in modern history.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know how long I don't know how long the Honky Tonk Man's title reign was for IC title, but and I don't know if I want Gunther to hold the title that long, but it's something to think about there.
Yeah.
Um, I did also see some reports that once Roman Reigns loses the titles, um, as we're all expecting it'll be to Cody Rhodes, when that remains to be seen. But once Roman Reigns loses the titles,
At WrestleMania.
um, the next the next thing on the agenda is to start building Gunther to the
Be the
main event,
heel.
or
Yeah.
so he's so he's in line to be groomed to be the next like top heel. So I'm I'm almost seeing that, and it might be too soon, but by next WrestleMania we might be seeing Gunther versus Cody Rhodes as the main event of WrestleMania next year for the world title.
I'd be okay with that. More Gunther, please.
But yeah, he's getting apparently he is being groomed to be pushed to the moon next after he loses the Intercontinental title. Which brings me back to this whole thing. So, if he loses the title at WrestleMania, now we can move on to getting him groomed for the world title, or he keeps the title through WrestleMania, and then now we go to like a him closing in on the Honky Tonk Man, however long that reign was. So they could go either way with that. I would be okay with either.
Well, he could. I don't know. I'd be okay with him winning both because Ultimate Warrior, he when he won the heavyweight title, he was IC champ, so I wouldn't mind seeing Gunther hold it and basically have to vacate the IC belt.
Yeah. Oh, wait. He's getting pretty close.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, so Honky Tonk Man, 454 days. That's the Honky Tonk Man's reign. 454. Gunther is 245. So he's getting close. I mean, that's 100 days. Or, I'm sorry, 200 days.
Yeah, he's halfway there.
So, yeah, they could see that going either way. Speaking of Gunther, he has a backstage seg. Oh, sorry. So yeah, we got the Fatal Five Way match set. Uh, After that, we get a match between Ronda Rousey and Tegan Knox. There was a brawl here that I didn't follow this brawl thing at all. Somehow, Ronda Rousey got her arm hurt during this whole brawl. I couldn't even tell you who was a part of the brawl. It obviously was storyline wise, so it was probably Natalia and Tegan Knox. But somehow in all this, Ronda Rousey got her arm injured. She was supposed to face Tegan Knox, and she didn't, and walked Shayna Baszler in her place. Shayna Baszler won in I don't know a couple. It was under a minute with a arm bar.
Well, apparently their injury's legitimate.
Oh, well that ain't good. She don't
Well,
need to wrestle around WrestleMania.
no. Her it's legitimate, but she's not expected to miss WrestleMania. That's not in jeopardy at all.
Oh, good.
So
Um,
her match will still be better than Bray Wyatt's, though. Don't worry.
Good. There's another thing that stuck out during this match. She didn't call.
Shayna's penis. Nothing. Nothing. You said another. You said another thing that stuck out. Yeah.
Oh no, so Ronda Rousey, she didn't call last week. She was calling Tegan Knox Skittles, and she didn't call her Skittles this week. Why is that important? It's because Tegan Knox is a lesbian,
Oh
so
God.
she was calling her Skittles last week. She didn't call her this week. That just stuck out to me. Like, oh, probably had to reel that one in.
Yeah. She probably had a conversation with HR.
Yeah, you can't call her Skittles. Why?
Because
And
she
she's talking about
likes the
tasting.
badge.
Yeah, and she was talking about tasting the rainbow and all that. Like, yeah, she had to walk that back. Like,
Doesn't she have the
oh,
weird
it's not
hair?
a good choice of words. Yeah, obviously she was talking about her hair, but she
Okay.
didn't know about her, you know, being a lesbian. So, because she didn't, how she played it, she did genuinely didn't know who it was. So she was calling her Skittles because she had multicolored hair, and
Okay.
then she was like, "Oh, next week I'm gonna taste the rainbow." Yeah. Oh, by the way, that's a lesbian, right? So when you're saying all that stuff, so now you're now you're using slurs.
Yeah. Now you're a bigot.
Now you're getting canceled. But yeah, after that segment that lasted less than 2 minutes, we got a Gunther backstage segment. They were asking him who he should who he wanted to face, and he said his only concern was having a worthy opponent for this great prize at WrestleMania. So Gunther doesn't care. He just wants the opponent to be worthy.
Which is why he's awesome. He's just gonna beat the
Yeah,
fuck out of whoever it is. It don't matter.
yeah, and just to be a worthy opponent. Um, in a surprise, we next then get Bobby Lashley. He comes out to the ring. He calls out Bray Wyatt. He says that Bray Wyatt is too much of a coward to come face to face with him on Monday Night Raw, so he figured he would come to SmackDown and face Bray Wyatt on SmackDown. Says if you have any balls, you'll come out here. All of a sudden, the lights go out. Um, no, sorry, lights didn't go out. All of a sudden, Uncle Howdy's music starts playing. What? Uncle Howdy? Instead of Bray Wyatt. And from behind attacks Uncle Howdy. Not Bray Wyatt. Never saw Bray Wyatt. He starts attacking Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley gets the comeback. He hits Uncle Howdy with a spine buster. And then he sets up for the spear. And he's waiting for Uncle Howdy to get up to hit him with a spear. And as Uncle Howdy gets up, lights go out. The lights come back on. Uncle Howdy's out of the ring. We get the flash of the Bray Wyatt moth thing, and segment is over.
Yeah, it was dumb.
Well, you had people decode the laugh or whatever it is, and they figured that Uncle Howdy is being played by um, Bo Dallas. Oh,
Oh,
so
that's the
there's that.
shocker. That's who they fucking said it is since he showed up.
They are. But my thing is, why is everybody constantly concerned with who Uncle Howdy is? You know who Uncle Howdy is? Uncle Howdy is the guy in the mask. Doesn't matter who is the character under the mask. You're never supposed to see that. Everybody's talking about, oh, when's he gonna unmask and reveal himself? He's not gonna reveal himself. He's a masked character. Why can't people understand this?
Because Bray Wyatt reveals himself. Bray Wyatt set that precedent. He's the one that wears a mask and takes it off freely.
He does.
So I think
But Uncle Howdy is a masked character.
So is Bray Wyatt.
Not all the time.
We don't know if Uncle Howdy's all the time or not.
He is.
We don't
He would
know.
have unmasked. He would have unmasked if he wasn't. If he was going to unmask, he would have already done it.
Not if they're trying to
He's
save
not
it
going
for
to
a big
unmask.
reveal. You don't know that. You don't know that.
Especially.
You don't know that. Why would he? Why would he put makeup on his face if he's not going to unmask himself at some point?
To hide his identity, because you got geeks trying to figure out who it is.
They already figured it out.
And number two, he wouldn't have gotten that. The mask got like redone, and it's all form fitting to his face now, looking like Phantom of the Opera. He's obviously got that mask to wrestle in. He's not taking the mask off. He's like Mankind. He's like Kane before he unmasked. Before he unmasked too.
He had a
He's
mask
just a
that he took
masked
off
character.
too. He had a mask over his mask.
Who, Kane?
Yeah.
That was late Kane. And it wasn't a mask, it was a welder's thing.
He's still
It
a
was
welder's mask.
That was a great version of Kane too.
Okay.
Like he's coming out in a welder's mask. What the hell?
He's coming out in a welder's mask over his mask. Just get the fuck out of here.
So yeah, that was the end of the Bray Wyatt and Bobby Lashley segment. Still no words on what the hell's going on there. We go back to
Nobody
Roman
knows.
Reigns.
It's just a bunch of idiocy, and Bray Wyatt—he's just doing the same shit that he did before he left. He's doing the little turn the lights out, and then you can see their fat shapes scrambling out of the ring, and then they turn the lights out. Oh, where'd he go? Where'd he go? I don't know where he went. He's so spooky. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, he's so mystical.
Mm-hmm.
We then get to Roman Reigns. He's backstage with Jimmy again, and he asked Jimmy again, "Have you heard? Did you talk to Jay?" Jimmy said, "Yeah. You know, he's a hothead. He needs more time." And Roman's like, "Is that what he really said?" And Jimmy said, "No, he said leave him the hell alone." That's what he actually said. And Roman Reigns, he starts to say that this whole thing, it started because when Sami Zayn got around the bloodline. Sami Zayn is the reason for all of this. If we take out Sami Zayn, he'll come home. And then he tells Jimmy, "I need you to go out there with Solo, and I want you to take care of Sami Zayn, and then that'll bring Jay home." Paul Heyman, after Jimmy gets up and leaves the room, Paul Heyman says, "Oh, that was great, my tribal chief." And Roman Reigns is like, "No, it wasn't." He says, "Jay has 1 week to be back in the bloodline, to fall back in line. And if he doesn't, I'm not going to blame Sami Zayn. I'm going to blame Jimmy Uso."
Dun dun dun.
Yes. So we got the bill to next week. If Jay does not show up and fall back in line, Jimmy Uso is going to have problems. This is finally going to be where we see where this whole thing is going with the WrestleMania match. If Jay falls in line and it's like, "You know what? I can't I can't do anything. You control me." And then Roman's going to then tell them, "Now that you're back in line, I need you to take care of the Sami Zayn problem. At WrestleMania, I need you to take care of Sami Zayn." And then still don't know how we loop Kevin Owens into that. But we still got to figure that part out. But that's 80% of it, or whatever the math is, 75%. Jay falls back in line because he's protecting his brother, and then Roman Reigns, now that he has control, is like, I need you to go take care of Sami Zayn. That's 75%, and then we just got to get Kevin Owens for the extra 100%. Um, Leads us to our main event: Sami Zayn versus Solo Sikoa. You knew, so I was actually kind of surprised here. Sami Zayn, whether you want to argue with it or not, he is one of the hottest baby faces in the company right now. So you got that, and you got Solo Sikoa, who's yet to be pinned in WWE. Well, sorry, I take that back for the few geeks that are who watch NXT. He's been pinned in NXT, but on the main roster, he's not been pinned. So uh, I thought this would, at best, end in a DQ, but Solo actually got the win with a Samoan spike.
He did.
So that was surprising to me. Of course, Jimmy, he's caused a distraction to get the Samoan spike, but we got the Samoan spike nonetheless.
Now, remember during the Raw match with the Street Profits, how I said it took both Montez Ford and D'Angelo Hawkins to have a combined effort to get Solo off of his feet once. Sammy did that single-handedly.
Well,
it took two men to knock Joe off of his feet, but Sammy can not only take Joe out by himself, but he took Jimmy out by himself.
Well, there's no Sami Zayn, that's why.
Okay.
He's over.
And then there was a spot where Sammy did a splash, Solo standing, and then Sammy did a splash onto him. Now think about how big of a pop it would have been if that would have been the first time that he knocked him off his feet, instead of just doing it right away. Why do the brothers got to sell the no foot thing, but Sammy just does it right away? He says, you know what? I write with my right hand, so go ahead and tie that behind my back, and I'll take you and Jimmy on.
Pretty much.
It bugs me.
But, it had to be a competitive match because of those two forces.
I'm okay with it being a competitive match, but if you're going to have him be the badass that doesn't ever leave his feet, then be consistent with it.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're saying. Okay.
I mean, I don't expect Solo or Sikoa Joe to just manhandle people and toss them around. But if you're going to give him a gimmick, then give him the gimmick.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, like you said, Joe hit the spike for the win, and then post-match, Jimmy and Sikoa Joe beat up on Sammy. They're going to do the name that we can't, or the move that we can't name. Sikoa Joe's about to give Sammy the final blow, and Jimmy stops him and says, "No, let me do it." And for some reason, this is enough time for Sammy to just single-handedly take care of him again.
Well, it's because he was also... So, Solo, he was about to do it. Jimmy stopped him. And then he's in the corner. He's over there yelling at Sammy. So, through all that, that's why he had time enough to recuperate.
I don't know. They beat him up.
They did. But, he was down a while.
I mean, Montez Ford, there was the same situation. Montez Ford, he was Kevin Owens stunned everybody, and he was just still there.
Oh, you got Jimmy over there talking about you. You betrayed us. Now I gotta get you.
Another person came and assaulted him. I don't know.
Well, I'm, I'm just telling you that's why. It's because he's stalling so long.
Well, so
It's like I gotta get you now because you you betrayed us.
Sokoa Joe and Jimmy both looked like idiots. They both look like the Batman henchmen. They can't ever get the plan right.
Pretty much. And then Sami Zayn he escapes out of the ring and runs into the crowd, and we got the end of Jimmy Uso. So we had no Jay on the show at all, but we had Jimmy Uso looking out into the crowd. We had Sami Zayn from the crowd looking back at Jimmy. They were playing up that Jimmy did not get the job done.
Yep.
He did not he did not follow Roman Reigns' orders, and
Well, he
we
followed
had
him. He just didn't. He didn't finish
yeah, he
him.
didn't get the job done. And you had Roman Reigns backstage looking pissed off because Jimmy didn't get the job done.
Right. That's the end of SmackDown. So we'll see what happens next week.
Yes. And I think we have one other story that we didn't get to cover in SmackDown because it wouldn't have been a part of SmackDown. This story is about FTR. I think we need to talk about them because uh, it's a thing that happened. So, FTR, that is an AEW team. And if you're not familiar with AEW, in WWE, they were the Revival. They won Feud of the Year with the Briscoes. Not important who that is at the moment, but just know that Wrestling Observer News, they were giving these awards out to the wrestling promotions, and they are AEW heavy. So they give these awards, and FTR, so like Tony Khan won Booker of the Year, MJF won the uh, Male Wrestler of the Year. So you can see that they're pretty AEW heavy.
Mm-hmm.
FTR and the Briscoes, they won Feud of the Year. And on the other side of that, AEW's Twitter account, or their social media account, they congratulated everybody who won the award. They congratulated MGF, they congratulated, I forgot what it was. Oh, Tony Khan. They congratulated Tony Khan. The only problem is when they got around to the feud of the year, they only congratulated the Briscoes. They say congratulations to the Briscoes for winning feud of the year. Now, as you know, to be a feud of the year, there needs to be two participants, and if you're a tag team in feud of the year, there needs to be then two other participants. So that's four total people. So to only say congrats to the Briscoes, you're obviously taking slight at the other team,
Right.
which was FTR in this case. Um, Dax Harwood, he then tweeted out in a quote tweet. So he responded to their little he screenshotted all of the congratulations to whoever for winning whatever. He screenshotted all of them, and then he put a quote with it, and he said, "Tell me April's coming up without tell me April's coming up," alluding to their contract almost being over. Um, he does his show, his podcast on Wednesdays. He went on and to elaborated. He said, yeah, he was upset when he didn't get the congratulations. Um, but he thought about it more, and he knows because AEW doesn't know if FTR is going to re-sign in April. So it would make sense for them to not be putting over a team that's like on their way out if they are on their way out. So that's how he kind of made sense of it. But I said that pretty much says that they're not re-signing with AEW.
Oh, no doubt. I think that the writing's been on the wall for a while, especially with how they've been well treated. Like it's clear that Tony has no interest in them or featuring them in any prominent role other than a ratings match with the Briscoes, which they're not going to have anymore. So
Yeah, yeah, they should have been prominent in the tag team division in AEW. Pretty much they the division should have been built around them,
absolutely,
but they've been held off of TV for whatever reason. Probably it's because of the whole contract thing. Um, that now that doesn't mean that they're going back to WWE. I don't think that's a sure bet.
no,
I still think that's going to determine on what they actually want to do. Like if they want to wrestle all over the world, like they alluded to, they want to wrestle, New Japan. They want to wrestle in New Mexico. They just want to. I'm sorry, Mexico. They just want to wrestle like the best tag teams. They don't want to be like tied down to a specific promotion and only have to wrestle the teams in that promotion.
right.
Um, so I can see that that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going back to WWE, but they could if they want to just take the money. I'm sure they could work something out if if that happens.
Yeah, I think so.
Um, but yeah, if they go, I said it the other week, but if they go back to WWE, they're pretty much just going back to to feud against the Usos. That's pretty much the only legit team that's there right now. The New Day could be a legit team, but they haven't won enough, haven't really tagged enough. They've just been two people doing singles matches really, and um,
Just wait
we just
until
saw the
just
we
wait
just saw the
until
Banger
Owens
Bros.
and Zayn team up.
Well, there you go. We'll be getting that at pay-per-views. Owens and Zayn versus the Revival, FTR, whatever their name would be at that point. Um, but yeah, uh, let us know if you agree with anything. If you disagree with anything, let us know. Don't forget to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and until next time, did you have anything else?
No, just have a good night. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.
And on that note, top guys out.